Is World War III going to happen because of China and America? I'm beeroseinchina, and today I have the answer for you. America has been messing with China for a really long time, revoking student visas, calling Chinese people peasants, starting crazy trade wars, restricting AI and NVIDIA chips, denying collaboration on the ISS, sabotaging development, and more. There's a quote by Napoleon: "China is a sleeping giant. Let him sleep, for if he wakes, he will shake the world." And wake he has. What does this mean for the future, and where can we find any of the answers? The answers always lie in history, because history repeats itself. I'm going to tell you the answer at the end of the video, so make sure to stick around. I promise you it will definitely be worth it. Today, I'm going to tell you the unknown story of the flying tigers. Let's go back to 1941. Imperial Japan was dominating the skies, and they were bombing everything that they could. China's Air Force was way weaker compared to Japan's. They were outnumbered and outgunned. A retired US Army captain, Claire Chennault, who was an advisor to China, saw that things were going very, very badly in China. So he went to President Roosevelt and asked if he could bring some men to China to fight. The president said no, but on the low, yes. If they sent over men who were enlisted, it would have been an act of war. Let me put things into perspective for you. Pearl Harbor had not happened yet. America saw World War II as more of a European thing, and they were happy to just watch from afar. So the loophole here was to get these men to resign, and then it wouldn't be an act of war. They would just be going to China, flying in planes, and shooting at the Japanese. Nothing going on there, right? Getting men to volunteer to go and fight in a country they have never seen before sounds impossible, right? Actually, it was possible. Around 300 men volunteered. They were pilots, mechanics, and more, and they were really good at what they did. These men became the AVG, the American Volunteer Group, better known as the Flying Tigers. Life for the Flying Tigers was brutal, based in Kunming. Conditions were harsh, weather was extreme, and supplies were limited. Why this location? Well, it was near the border with Burma, which means it was right next to the Burma Road, which is where the Chinese would get supplies. But the Japanese bombed it relentlessly. The Flying Tigers were tasked with guarding the Burma Road, but it did eventually fall. The Japanese took control of it. So they had to find another way to get supplies, and that was through the Hump. Flying the Hump took men from India to China over the Himalayas, which are some of the tallest mountains in the world. This was such a dangerous route, and so many men lost their lives going over the Hump. There was even an aluminum trail left behind because of all the debris from the crashed planes. Now on to the Flying Tigers' iconic planes that they flew and the Walt Disney Company. I'll tell you how they connect, don't worry. They flew P-40s with a shark mouth painted on the front to look more intimidating. And on the side was a Flying Tiger logo that was designed by the Walt Disney Company. These P-40s had a huge weakness, and that was they were huge. They were super, super heavy, but Chennault took this disadvantage and made it into an advantage that the Japanese were not ready for at all. Let me tell you how Chennault rewrote the rules of aerial combat. Japanese Zeros were a force to be reckoned with. They were light, they were fast, they could turn easily, and they were great at dogfighting. Dogfighting is close-range aerial combat. Chennault warned his men, do not dogfight with the Japanese. It will mean certain death. So what were they to do? I'll tell you exactly what they did. The new tactic was dive from the sun, strike, and disengage. Let me break it down for you. So they used the sun and clouds as cover. They waited for the Japanese to appear, and when they saw them, they used gravity and the weight of the planes to go at insane speed so the Japanese couldn't even see them coming. And they would use their .50 caliber guns, they would strike, and then they would vanish just as quickly as they showed up, thus not giving the Japanese time to dogfight with them. The Japanese, once the most powerful ones in the sky, were no longer. You may think I've already told you the craziest part of all of this. Nope. I'm about to tell you the most insane part. Pilots crashed, which means that Western dudes were literally falling out of the sky into foreign lands. How did the Chinese react? They treated them like family. Chinese civilians risked their lives to protect these men that they had never met before. Over 200 US airmen were rescued this way, and they owe their lives to these Chinese heroes. After the war, American veterans returned to China to lay flowers on the graves of those who hid them, and some Americans even said that China was their second home. Not too long ago, when China bled, Americans chose to bleed too. When Americans fell, Chinese people risked their lives, and some even lost them, protecting Americans. This is not called friendship. This is called brotherhood. So do I think that World War III will happen because of China and America? No, I don't. Just look at history. We used to be more than friends. We were brothers and sisters. And I know that in the future, we can be that again. Even though the Western media tries to pit Westerners against Chinese people, it's just not gonna work. We ain't falling for it. We don't have to fight wars that we don't believe in. We hold the power. I know that right now a lot of young people in America feel hopeless, and I want to tell you that there is always hope. As a whole, we are stronger than we know. I had a video go viral in China on RedNote where I was crying because I was so touched by Westerners and Chinese people forming connections, understanding one another. I saw how deeply we wanted to be friends, and I also saw an aha moment when Americans realized that the China that they were told about by the media was not true. They were able to see the real China told by real people. And let me clear something up. A lot of people in the comments say that I hate my country. That is not true. I love America. I am who I am because I was raised there. I make comparison videos to show Westerners and Americans what the real China is like, and also show Americans what life could be like if money was invested into the people and not into wars. Maybe some of you don't believe me, and that's totally okay. I encourage you actually to stay skeptical. The best way to know the truth is to travel and to see real places and to meet real people. Come to China and see for yourself. And that's all for you guys today. If you like this video, please like it, leave a comment, and do not forget to subscribe because it helps us keep doing what we are doing. Until next time, peace out.